Okay, so boom. This all began at the time when I was 8 years old. Story time on how I was kidnapped by my insane dad. Okay, so boom. This all began at the time when I was 8 years old. So my teacher was off for whatever reason, so we had a substitute teacher. The substitute teacher ended up being my dad, but I didn't know he was my dad at the time. But I always had a bad feeling when I was by him. One day after class, my dad asked me to stay to talk to him. But because I always had a bad feeling about him, I just made up an excuse and told him that I couldn't stay after class. And even when I gave him that excuse, he told me just give him a second, but again, he was weird. Anyways, the next day at school, we had free time, and the whole time he was staring at me. It was actually almost my birthday, and I was passing out invitations to my classmates. Well, somehow he got a hold of one of my invitations. My birthday went by and everything was fine until the next day. It was Sunday and my mom was at work, and I was babysitting my two little sisters. And this is where it gets scary. Okay, so boom, like I said, it was Sunday and my mom was at work and I was babysitting my two little sisters. When I went to go get my sisters a snack, I heard something. I got scared and I immediately called my mom on our emergency phone. She looked at the cameras and there was nothing there, but I kept on hearing something. So I took my mom's old flip phone and I grabbed my two little sisters. I brought them to my room in our secret crawl place and I gave my older little sister the flip phone. I told my little sister to stay there and to not come out until I come back, and that if I didn't come back, to call the police and stay hidden until the police came. I grabbed my bat and went downstairs, and guess who it was? My insane dad. So that's when he told me that he was my dad and that he had proof. So I went with him to get him away from my little sisters, and that's when he threw me into his truck. I texted my sister the signal before he took my phone, like for part 3. Okay, so boom, like I said, my dad threw me into his truck. I was able to text my little sister the signal for help before he took my phone. About 20 minutes later, he stopped at a hotel. He again told me that I was his, and that's why he would stare at me so much, because he had to make sure. And then he said he had to make sure that I was his sacrifice, but I didn't understand what he was talking about. He was being very creepy. I ended up staying there with him for 6 days, but thank God on the 6th day, the police was finally able to track me down. They were finally able to locate me and find me, and thank God they did. I ran to my mom, cried, told her I loved her, but I also told her that I did it to keep my sisters safe. Now he's in jail for 10 years, and he can't come within 100 feet of me or my family. My family moved to Florida with my stepdad, and now I'm expecting my little brother. Trust your instincts.
Time I threw up on a ride while riding it. So every year in the town that I grew up, there was a county fair. And there was a ride in particular called the Zipper. And it was probably the most popular ride there. So basically the ride is a big giant circle. It kind of looks like a Ferris wheel, except you and another person that sits in a cage, the cage spins around while the thing is like going in a big giant circle. So I thought it was a good idea after eating 6 fried Oreos, 2 funnel cakes, 3 corn dogs, 5 chicken tenders, French fries, ice cream. Why not go on the Zipper? So me and my friend go on. That first 3 seconds of being on there, I realized how big of a mistake that was. And I tried to hold it back. I did. I think the first initial I swallowed, but after that I just It was a mess, to say the least. But use my code to get 15% off of your VP Fashion hair extension.
This is going to be a story time of when my stepbrother killed our dog and fed it to me and my little sister for dinner. Let's get right into it. So my mom had died when I was
great time while I make some delicious flaxseed pancakes, gluten-free and sugar-free, by the way. Except for the granola. The granola did have sugar in it, but you don't have to add granola. But anyway, so this is a story time about the first time that I've ever actually truly felt embarrassment. I mean, like the first thing that I can remember. In first grade, we had a bathroom connected to our classroom, so we didn't have to walk out of the hall to use the bathroom. And it came time where I had to pee very badly, and I was going to explode if I didn't go in the next 5 seconds. So I raised my hand and I said, "Can I please go to the bathroom? It's an emergency." And my teacher said yes. And then another boy stood up and he was like, "No, I need to use the bathroom. I want to go first." And he was a kid that had a special help teacher. And but like obviously me being in first grade, I didn't understand any of that, so I was just like, "No, I asked first." And we got into like a little petty argument about it, but then the teacher was like, "Okay, ladies first." So then I have my skirt pulled down, I'm about to pee, and the door opens. Part 2 of the first time that I felt true embarrassment, at least the first time that I remember.
Also, this is what I do when the colored acrylic isn't mixed well and starts to marble. So I was in the bathroom stall, and if you watched my last video, you know that there was a kid that was really upset that I got to go to the bathroom first. So, I pulled down my skirt and I was about to pee. Then all of a sudden I hear the helper teacher and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Don't touch the door. Don't go by the door." Blah. And mind you, in first grade, we didn't have locks on the bathroom doors just in case we fell in or something. Also, this was a 1-person stall, so there was a full door. And right when I was about to let out my pee, the door starts to shake open. So then I'm still squatting, but I get up and I grab the door handle and I start pulling it towards me so that it doesn't open. And then I hear the kid and he's like, "I need to go to the bathroom." And I was just so embarrassed and so mortified because my hoo-ha was out. I was wearing a skirt, so everything was showing. And when I was playing tug war with the door, I ended up peeing all over myself and the bathroom.
Story time of how I found out that there was a guy living in my attic. I'm even pretty sure there's a couple articles on this. So basically living in the house was me, my mom, my dad,